We're going to talk about how to prepare for algebra, and very important, how to prepare for algebra. Before that, some context. If you look at quant, it breaks up like this: 40% nearly to arithmetic, 30% nearly to algebra, 15% to geometry, 20% to number systems and modern math. Remember, this is broad classification. There are some topics and questions that will sit here and here, here and here. I've put them with some logic, but consider it arbitrary. Understand that these percentages are not cast in stone. Right? When you're preparing, the bedrock is arithmetic. You will move to other three sections only after having a handle on arithmetic. And so, one, because arithmetic is the highest weightage. Two, because arithmetic has simply the easiest questions. Three, very importantly, the stage gets set for these if you're comfortable with that. Right? I want to dive into algebra deeper. Right? What is sitting inside this 29%? Lots of x's and y's. What are the topics that sit here? Linear and quadratic equations. Linear and quadratic equations is a giant topic, especially quadratic equations. How to solve them is very straightforward. But there are a few topics in quant that you must overdo. In that overdo list sits quadratic equations. And so quadratic equations, you're going to find them in coordinate geometry, in inequalities, in functions, in quadratic equations, in parts of arithmetic, in pretty much every subtopic, quadratic equations appear. And the final part is solving. And so quadratic equations, you know how to solve, you should know completion of squares, sum of roots, product of roots, how do you extrapolate to cubic, polynomials, the whole shebang. Overdo this topic before going to other things. Now, inequalities and functions can come together, important. Do not overdo functions. And functions start from what is functions, how do you define it, expressions, solving, imagining a graph. You do just touch on kind of even function, odd function, and into all of that. Don't worry about functions from the point calculus begins. Continuity, differentiability, limits, that part of functions, let it go. That's not required. Overdo this part, but don't touch and get carried away with that part of functions. Right? Again, when it comes to inequalities, quadratic inequalities, framing, simple linear inequalities, knowing the broad rules, that's important. End with AMGM inequality. Don't go to inequalities based on inequalities, theorems and ideas. That's not required. Don't go into the heavy duty algebraic framework based inequalities. Not required. Logarithms and arithmetic and geometric progressions, start these topics as if they are arithmetic topics. Get very comfortable with the idea of log 1000 to the base 0.1, log 2 to the base 16. And so get those simple numerical ideas in place. How arithmetic progressions move, how geometric progressions move. Get that, then go into the algebraic end of it. And so you need lots of practice for this because it's not a naturally intuitive idea. And so this forms the bucket for this. Beyond this, there's lots of kind of identity solving with just variables thrown in. Sitting on top of quadratic equations, polynomials, but understanding what a cube minus b cube is. How you can reimagine a question by constructing it as a square minus b square, a power m plus b power m. Those frameworks are learnt iteratively. They don't naturally sit in any one of these. You do questions, you start getting more and more comfortable with these ideas. So you must do a lot of questions in this. Algebra sometimes comes super naturally to some people, for some it doesn't. But the power of math itself is in algebraizing learning. And so I'm sure you've all seen this context where a specific context is expanded to a general thing. An observation gives birth to an idea, to a hypothesis, and then a theory in our heads. We observe something and then you say, okay, so what about the entire context about this? And sometimes we stereotype and make mistakes, but solving for 6 apples and 5 bananas, and then 17 apples and 18 bananas, and then 14 apples and 14 bananas, it's all good. And then mathematicians say, what if we had m apples and n bananas and formed a general structure for whatever we are thinking about? Then that's magical because we have layered an entire structure of solving on abstraction and not ideas. And so algebra is a super powerful toolkit for extrapolation. And so as a mathematical idea, it's just pure genius that we can go beyond numbers and have rules for what we call as variables and imagine specific context in their general frame. It's gigantically powerful. Come to think of it, no other subject really extrapolates like this. And you can't have chemistry where you say, look, oh, so we have these compounds. How about we extrapolate the same idea to 15 other genres of compounds? No, we can't do that. But math gives you a toolkit to take an instance and then solve for a general case. It's magical. And so you have to understand that, look, algebra is a gigantic toolkit to talk about 100 questions in percentage at the same time. Right? And then say, oh, nice, so I need to know this. So you have to reframe your mind to start liking those x's and y's. I mean, it's a topic that I never really took to when I was learning for the first iteration, but I've become fascinated more and more because arithmetic caps out. You can't really do beautifully tough questions without using x's and y's. You can't expand on frameworks without bringing algebra into the thing. So arithmetic has a place, it just caps out after a level. If you don't have x's and y's, you can't go beyond a point. Right? Geometry is fascinating, number systems is full of ideas, but algebra is like the big toolkit bang in the center. And so you have to grow to appreciate how wonderful it is. Otherwise, it can be a bit of a drag. So please keep that in mind. Best wishes.
Hey, hope this video was useful. For more useful content, sign up with 2am for a 40-hour free course with us. All the best.